gentlemen, good day. This is Thea with Housewives TV featuring the Fireside Chat segment. Guys, I am back with the latest section of the Cherryfield house building saga. This is part 3 of the fake plyboard sales. And in this segment, I am going to talk about how I busted those 3 scammers and how I uncovered the entire hoax with the hardware store. So get your favorite drink, sit down, and let me tell you what's going on. I don't want you to be a victim of these same scams. As a matter of fact, I want you to be on your P's and Q's. I don't want you to fall prey to any of the types of bingos they have in Jamaica, because they are specifically targeting foreigners, Jamaicans who are abroad, working so hard to improve their living conditions, and those who wish to invest in their country. We must put a stop to this. We must put these thieves out of business. Okay? So, let's proceed. So, ladies and gentlemen, recall from the previous 2 videos, part 1 and part 2, that S1, S2, and S3 were in on the deal to defraud me of my money. S2 and S3's stories were conflicting, and they gave me fake hardwares, and also they gave me a hardware store from the Highgate area as the name of the store that they bought the plyboard from. Now, I had to do my own research. I had a yellow page with me, and so I had the listing of the store during prior years. So that's how I found the name of the store that was at the location. And so I called up the store and I asked to speak to the management team. They put me on to a lady, and the lady told me, well, her husband is in charge, but her husband was not at the store at the moment, but she could talk to me. And so I told her about the entire story about the arrest and what have you. Well, needless to say, this lady did not know about of any such incidents, because in reality it never happened. It was a story S2 and S3 was giving me. It was a concocted story. So she put me on hold and she said, you know what, let me contact my husband in case something went down and I didn't know about it. So she called me, came back online and she said to me, my husband is in a meeting and he told me he'll call me right back as soon as he's finished. And so before I got back with you, I called up the staff and I asked them about the incident, and none of my staff know about this incident that took place at our current location. And by the way, there couldn't be an incident at the Vanity Fair facility because now is May and we officially closed out that store from February. So we were not at that location from over 3 months ago. So we couldn't have had an incident there. Are you sure it's that location or is it the King Street location? So I was dumbfounded. I didn't know what to do. At this point, even though I had my suspicions, everything starts to fall in place, and it was very evident that this was a SCAM. Okay, so the lady, she told me that much, and she told me to call her back in uh, call me back later when she had a chance to speak to her husband. So then I called her later and her husband came on the phone and he assured me that nothing like that took place at any of his facility. He did not arrest any worker. He didn't have any disputes over any lumber with any customer, and it never happened. And so that's when I found out that this was a form of bingo that was being perpetrated. So I thanked them, took their contact information, and let them know I was gonna contact this Crime Stoppers fraud squad. So I called up the St. Catherine police station and they gave me their fraud squad number. And I spoke to the people at the fraud squad and they redirected me to the station in my location. So I gave this statement, told everything I have just told to you and more details to this station when I contacted them. And they told me, well, they're taking the statement, but I need to come to Jamaica to officially fill some papers and what have you to um, escalate this thing up further. But in the meantime, they were going to the location because I told them about the car and everything and what have you. So, two police officers from the locality in which I was building my house went to S2's home where this car is supposedly stored. Well, they spoke to him and they followed up with me as to what I can do and directed me into what the next step was. So apparently, S2, after the police visit, got very, I'm gonna use street term, he got very jiggy. So he called me up. Remember, S2 wasn't speaking to me for several days now. And all of a sudden after that visit, S2 called me up and decided, oh, I'm gonna get back the money, I'm to be blamed. And he start blaming the other two. That's he's blaming now S1 and S3. And he's kind of taking himself out of the picture that, oh, they pulled one on him. Okay. So, to get to the bottom of everything, what we decided to do This is S2 and me. I'm still giving him. I knew he was in on the deal, but I'm still playing along the line with him that he was an innocent victim. So he told me I'm gonna get back the money. Um, we already have been making contacts, and we the money pretty much he confessed because he said the money that he had and the money that S3 had, they already put that money back together, and it's only left to get the money that S1 has. So I told him, okay, do that. Well, over the course of days and so on, um, I got to communicate with S3, and S3 assured me that S2 received part of the money back, and the outstanding money from S1 would be recovered soon. Well, the money never came back to my hand. So, what S2 decided to do was to make a deal with me. Like I mentioned before, S2 is an electrician. And at that time, I was decking and setting up the, the roof of the first floor. So S2 decided, okay, he will do the electrical piping and all that for me. For the 60 something thousand, 65,000 to be exact, he was going to do the piping and all the foundation electrical stuff that needed to be done for that money. And I went with that. Now, over the course of months that the house was being worked on, when the mason men wanted S2 to come on the site and lay the pipes, he was always unavailable. And to be honest, S2 had a little job with the high school in our area. He used to work as a coach with the football students. So some of the times I bought his excuse because I knew he had another job with the school. But it became very difficult for the mason men to do their job because S2 was always missing, and they wanted to, lay whatever steel work and decking that they need, and the piping was supposed to be put in that, and it was keeping them back. So a lot of times they had to proceed without S2. A matter of fact, there were two occasions that I had to pay a different electrician to come in and put in pipings because S2 wasn't cooperating. But even then, I didn't realize that S2 really didn't want to pay me back the money. So, according to S3, S2 had recovered part of the money, and pretty much that was what it boiled down to, that the deal the whatever scam they were trying to do fell apart. So that was not enough. Over the course of months, it was like pulling a tooth to get S2 to comply with whatever work he needed to do as far as the electrical work. And he was always there, just last minute, to do what needs to be done. Okay? So With that said, I I dropped the charges. I didn't go any further with the police. And like I said before, he was a relative of mine, and I didn't really want to see him locked up. And I didn't want to see my nephew, as much as my nephew was heartless and went along with um that fraud on me. I really didn't want to see him get locked up. Have you ever heard the saying that children will eat mother, but mother won't eat children? Well, that's how I felt. So I wanted to work with them and give them a second chance to redeem themselves. At this point, I used to send wire transfers, both Western Union and MoneyGram to S2. I discontinued that. I started using other individuals when anything involves money. And but I had him there doing other little things for me. You know, he would recommend subcontractors and so on, and I had a key to a storage room. He had the key, and he had pretty much a lot of say still. Even though he did that to me, I found it in my heart to forgive him. And you are going to see that when people are dishonest and people really wants to take advantage of you, even though you're good to them, they will rob you blindly. Okay? So eventually, like I said before, I did not pursue any criminal charge against these two individuals. But I prayed. I took it to my father upstairs and I prayed, put it in his hands and prayed to him and asked him to do what's necessary. Needless to say, and I'm going to get ready to close out this segment, S1 is not here with us anymore. Amen? And I'm not rejoicing. It's not good to rejoice on the downfall of people. But like I told you before, he was a shady individual. And this was not the first time he was cheating me. Because he and S3 already cheated me. Okay? And you haven't heard that story yet, but I'll bring that to you. And that's why when I heard that he was gonna be the person with the truck to go pick up the material, I said no, I don't want to have anything to do with him. Okay? Because he had multiple vehicles and there were stories going around that they were stolen vehicles. And I knew he didn't have a job or anything. So when I heard that he had a truck for himself, I wasn't about to get involved with hiring him. Okay? So he isn't here anymore. His time ran out. They found him in Clarendon, lifeless. Let's choose the words um, very careful. They found him lifeless, and it's because of the clothes he was wearing. And I think, yes, he had some ID on his body, but when they found him, he could not be identified physically. because the beast of the field, and the birds of the air, and the insects in the ground had taken care of him. Its only skeletonized remains were left, along with his ID and his clothing. And that's what his people used to ID him. So don't mess with God's people. Don't try to do people evil, because it will come back to you. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, in closing this saga, I just want to warn you, it's not just plyboard that they have fall sales for. All different kinds of building material, from tile to nails to what have you. So be very careful. And they are using legitimate businesses as fronts. They are having websites that you click on links and it takes you to the real websites, but they have false phones. So please be aware of those scams. In the next video, I'm going to bring to you the mysterious disappearance of my waka and my aluminum rake. So stay tuned for that one. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. That's very important. I need you to share the videos so the word can get around that these predators are out there ready to rip you off. Be very careful, and be careful of people at the hardwares that want to take your number and want to assist you. If it looks too good to be true, it's probably really that, a fake. So be very careful, and I'll talk to you later in the next video. So keep your eyes out for the next video coming. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you will be notified when it's uploaded. Thank you for watching.